So there we go, the start of the Sunday afternoon fire. Now I gotta close my door a little bit until she gets everything warmed up and gets the flue hot. And then I'll be able to open her back up. I'll just give you a little look outside here today. And by the way, good day, boys and girls, viewers. Thanks for coming back to Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood today. So we are, I'm not sure of the temperature, about maybe 6 degrees Celsius. So it's an overcast day. It's kind of, no, it's not raining. I don't know if it's supposed to rain or not, but anyway. A little bit of that stuff around yet, but basically gone. And I know there's going to be more to come. So in the garage today it is 50, 53, 54 degrees in around there. So I'll get you back in a little bit once I got things underway here. So just a little thing I thought of here. I don't know, most people probably know all this, but anyway. Something I learned years ago with kerosene lamps. You can kind of see the burner part is curved. So my flame is also curved. And some people, when they trim their wick, they cut them flat across. And what that causes is then your flame is not rounded and you get corners, sharp corners of flame here, right straight across. So if you turn your flame up too far, those corners will smoke. But you can see I'm turning it up here, it still stays relatively rounded. Of course, if I go too far, I can make it smoke. But if the wick is flat across and not the same shape as the top of the kerosene burner in here, and that's what you'll get. Now with that rounded flame there, I can turn it up and down and I don't get any smoke. But like I say, you turn it too high, then you will get smoke. But if the wick is flat cut across, then you'll get high flames on either side. And in order to keep it from smoking, you have to have it fairly low, which results in less light. Anyway, it's just a foolish thing I thought of doing, but I have a little piece of paper here with some of my hand and turkey scratch on it to kind of show what I mean. I don't know if you'll be able to see what I'm doing here or not. But anyway, you can see, don't trim the wick like this. That's the wick, the square like that, and you trim it like that so it's trimmed with the burner. So your end result flame is, your flame is rounded so there's no smoke. And if it's square looking, then the corners will smoke. And sometimes even more so is the center of that flame. If I can do this here, the center of this flame kind of comes more more like that. So you get these tips here. So if you have your wick up high trying to get light, then those tips will smoke. So you're better off with a flame like that. There now, there's my Sunday afternoon genius lesson, I guess. Anyway, like I said, most of you probably know that anyway. I just thought I'd mention it. If any of you have any comments or better ideas on that, post them in the comments, please, or make a video on it maybe. All right, fire's starting to come up to speed here. I'm starting to get kind of warmed up, so I got to change my clock. Oh, that's only 2:27. It's not 3:27. 327s were great motors in the old shapes, and Rambler cars had 327 motors that were made by Rambler. That's why I ramble. I like Rambler cars. All right, I'll cut you off there for a little bit, and I'll get back to you. Well, good afternoon again, boys and girls, viewers. That's another nice day today. I'm gonna go get a little bit of wood here. I still seem to be having trouble with getting sound on the videos. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm doing it wrong anyway. I didn't really seem to have that much trouble before. I do now. There. Some maple in there and some cherry in there. And there's some locust in there. Holy cats, that old locust stuff. Boy, I'm telling you, that stuff lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. It almost burns like coal. It gets cherry red on the bottom, but it doesn't seem to burn. Lasts a long time. Heavy, heavy wood. There now. So I'm going to have a sip of coffee here. It's a great place to keep the coffee warm. There now. So hopefully the sound works on like two previous clips on this. So hopefully the sound works. Anyway, first clip was me lighting the stove, and then the next clip was me talking about my kerosene lantern up here. And I'm sure most of you know about this, but I did do a little thing on there about how you trim your wick. Now, where I learned this, I don't know. If I just thought of it myself or I got taught by somebody, I can't remember. But it definitely makes a difference. It's working good there too. Well, it's been working good all along. But anyway, now I guess I just stood up for no reason. But anyway, So kind of the purpose of this video this Sunday afternoon, I don't think anybody's going to show up for a visit today. They usually kind of let me know if they're coming or not. And it's 3:30 already on November 5th, so I don't think they're coming today. Anyway, there's usually a couple of guys sometimes, not all the time, but they come down, we have a sit here and a chat. We get a couple of chairs and the fire going and talk about tractors or whatever else is going on. And they're not going to show up today, I don't think. So anyway, I was challenged to do a challenge on my wood stove. Now, my wood stove isn't like what everybody else's wood stove is like. Especially the new one that Dave put in his basement there. Holy cat, that's a nice stove. This is just an old stove. But I guess it burns wood and puts heat out, so new, old, does the same job, I guess. Anyway, in a minute here, I'll take you over and I'll show you a little bit about it and chat about it a bit, and that'll be that. So Ben, at When Work is Play, had a video on his stove there. He's got a nice stove there too. So anyway, while I'm thinking of it here, before I forget, being that there's wood stove challenges going out, and before I get in to explain what I got here, I'm going to send a challenge out to Kenny at Open Air Adventure, because I know he's got a stove, and he's got a nice little stove there too. Yeah, and I may have another one at the end of the video that I'm going to challenge. So I just got to go up front here for a minute and we'll see what is what. So sorry about that, but I wanted to mention another person to take the challenge, so I kind of had to refresh my memory. My memory goes bad on me, I guess. So anyway, I'm also going to challenge Rick at Twin Brook Acres. He's mentioned that he has a stove. So there we go. We got 2 more challenges out. So I'll have another sip of coffee. And this isn't McDonald's coffee. It's just homemade coffee. Because I'm in hibernation, I don't go anywhere. As far as I went today was from the house to the garage. That's it. All right. So we'll take you over and we'll do a little chat about this stove. Sorry about the goings on here, but I got to get you off of the camera holding thing. There we go. So I'll show you what the camera holding thing was. corner of the loader here. Yeah, she's high tech here, boys. That's just the way it is. High tech. Now, this old stove, I still got to fix my boot yet. I want to get it warmed up before I do anything. So we've lived here for 30 years. This stove has been here for 30 years. And the person who had the place before me probably had this stove for, I'd say, probably 10 to 15 years before I had it. So it's an oldie. Now, these are a great old stove, but they're just made of the sheet metal. So over time, they tend to crack and stuff like that. So, and you know what that means. If the insurance people come in here and seen a crack in it, they'd be all up in arms and I'd have to throw it out. Well, luckily so far, I haven't had any insurance people in. And I've had the whole case off of that stove, I think maybe 3 times, and I've fixed up cracks and different things over the years in it. And it's getting to the point where it might need it again because it smokes the odd time. And but other than that, well, they're a great old stove. Wood Chief is the brand name, and then there was another name for them, the newer models, but they were identical stove. I can't remember what that name was. These were made in, or this one anyway, the tag says Burlington, Ontario. Now, if you had a brand new one of these, man, oh man, that'd be something to have. They are lined with stone in them. You can kind of see the stone there. And the nice thing about them, when they're new and they don't have any air leaks, they've got a thermostat. So it's just a bimetal sensor, I guess you'd call it. It's hooked to a chain, and the chain, I gotta get a flashlight, I guess. And the chain is hooked to a little door that opens and closes. Yeah, my video taking is not very good. Anyway, putting it down here. Okay, right there. You can kind of see the door and the chain coming up. I put a little bit of yellow paint on the end of it there so I can kind of see where it's at. And it's about halfway closed now. But if you had the door closed and it was just doing its thing, that little door opens if it needs heat, and then it closes if it doesn't need heat. It's a great little system. Anyway, because the stove is old and air leaks, the draft still works and closes, but it doesn't really close the stove off enough to make it work properly, I guess. Anyway, there's the fire today. It's a nice fire. Now that block of wood that's on the left is the locust. Oh man, that stuff, it's a different kind of a wood, that. So normally I try to sometimes have my door closed or my screen closed. Just like that. And that comes from sitting in front of a wood coal fireplace when I was a kid. They used to have a screen that stood in front of the fire, and that was good for the keep the sparks and things. But I mean, it was the idea of the look of it. I think it was more what I liked. So I still like that. So I put that screen on there. They don't come with that, these stoves. So I just drilled a couple of holes, put a rod through, stuck on the screen. Because I worked at propane installation, they used to take out a lot of wood inserts and put in propane inserts. So one day I kind of course, the people just wanted the stuff thrown out, so I just gaffled the screen off of one of them and kept it. So that's that. And down on the bottom there is an ash pan that opens. So see the handle here. The door opens and then there's an ash pan that pulls out. And like I say, boy, they were some stove when they were new. But like to say, the other thing is that they were only made out of sheet metal. So, and you can see where I've put metal on and then put it on with screws there on this front side right here. So there we are. That's my wood stove. I did burn coal in it for a little while. It's hard to get now, the coal, but there was a fellow here in PEI that had it. But and I don't know if he has any more or not. He was getting it from Pennsylvania at the time. And at that time, the dollar was more on par, I guess, or maybe the other way even a little bit. So he decided to get a bunch of coal. He brought in a tractor trailer load of it. And it was the good, I don't know if I'm going to say this right here, the anthracite coal or something like that. Black and shiny. Blacksmith coal, I think is what I call it. But anyhow, I still got to change my clock yet. It's only 3:47. So there we go. Dave, I did it. So Dave kind of gave me a little going over, but not wanting to do it or something. Well, I just didn't think anybody would want to see that old thing. So that's not that's certainly not like what most people have in their houses and garages. So there we go. We'll cut her off at that, I guess, and I'll see if the sound works. I'll see if the sound works. So there's my little diagram on the flame for the kerosene lamp. If you can make out what I'm getting at there. Anyway, we used to use kerosene lamps at home years ago quite a bit when the power would be out. So I kind of like kerosene lamps too, so I kind of kept that. And I have another one here somewhere. Where's that one at? I should get it out and light it up too soon. It's one of them ones that it won't blow out in the wind, kind of like a railway lantern or something, I think. Okay, up in underneath all this junk here. There we go. Yeah. That was bought by my mother for me. Way, way, way back when. So, just charging up the battery here out of, what did that come out of? Grunt, I think. That's what that come out of. And grunt is Ford LGT 100 garden tractor. So it's just got put away this past weekend, or I should say yesterday, this weekend. Yeah. Anyway, I don't even know what day it is. So that engine there, being as I got the battery right there, I might see what I can do with that maybe. And what else have we got here? I think that's about enough rambling. I'll give you one last look at the fire here. And there's your Sunday. That's what I like doing on Sundays through the winter. All right. Thanks for watching. And have a great day. Have a good weekend coming up. Or weekend. Have a good week coming up. Then the weekend. And hopefully we'll see some more wood stove challenges in the future. Well, here I am again. I kind of forgot to say something about this stove. I guess it's nothing real important. But anyway, the home or the hardware stores used to sell these around here. And I can remember them, the price of them was, I think about $500 or $4.99, $500. The last one I saw was about $1,400, and that was, well, it was quite a few years ago now. I'm not sure how many quite a fews, but I'm not sure. But I'm kind of thinking that they don't even make these stoves anymore. And at one time, as the newer ones came, they had another knob down at the bottom for another down in there, and that was for the extra burn, I think, for the EPA ratings. I think they had air that would go in and follow along tubes and up the back end of it on this side and come across the top, and then they would recycle the exhaust gases and reburn them. But anyway, I don't know if they make the stoves anymore or not. Anyhow, they were a great old stove, so we'll cut her off there again. Have a great week coming up, and